So, first of all, I would like to give all of you some acknowledgement. First is that there are many dialects in English, and so the dialect that we hear every day is probably Chinglish, which is Chinese English, and maybe there's African English, American English, or British English, whatever. There's like thousands, hundreds, thousands of dialects in English globally. And what I will be speaking today is probably something more like American English, and specifically Logan, Utah, where I stayed for 2 years when I was little. And to show you what it's like to have many, many dialects in English, let's take a look at this example. Okay, so how would you pronounce this word?
Let's have a fight here.
Yes. Okay.
Lawyer.
Let's have Minnie say it.
Lawyer.
Okay, so Minnie say lawyer, and I go lawyer, because I'm pretty sure that I was right because I heard.
I'm sure right too.
I heard it when I was in the United States, and I heard this in Utah, and she said she heard it from a teacher, right?
Yes.
And she's also the native speaker. So in the end, what happened was that both works.
Yes.
So people say it both ways, so they both work. So this is just an example of the diversity of English. Okay, now moving on. Why do we have to learn how to pronounce a different way? Like maybe we want to pronounce like American English or British English. Why aren't we satisfied with our Chinglish?
Sounds cooler.
Yeah. First of all, maybe if you speak fluent in English, you would have more confidence. That's the first thing. And if you speak fluent in English, you might be able to catch more people's attention. When you speak fluent in English, people will look at you and they'll be able to understand what you're trying to say. So you won't convey the wrong thing to them. You don't want that to happen. Let's take a look at one example. So this is your boss at the right. No, on the left is your boss, and you're the person on the right. And you say this after she tells you something, and then she just walks away. Why? Because this is what she heard in Chinglish. I can understand what you say. So what happened is that she thought you understood, so she just walks away. You don't want this to happen when you go to your company and you can't understand your boss and she didn't repeat the instructions again, and you're going to mess up. So you don't want that to happen. So this is why we want to learn. So here I have summarized some common mistakes that many Taiwanese speakers make. You might be able to pick out a couple points from here. And perhaps you already have very good English, then perhaps these are the problem that your friends might be. So if you want to help them, you might want to learn from some of these too. So here we go. First of all is some pronunciation errors that we often hear from Chinglish when we are pronouncing single words. So we start from single words and then we're going to move on to multiple words, a string of words or phrases, sentences. Okay, first problem is what I call the lazy mouth. What is the lazy mouth? Okay, let's take a look at how do you say these words. Yeah, in Chinese we go, in standard Chinese it goes like 山寨版手机, right? But we don't do that. We're used to saying 山寨版手机. That's how we do it in Chinese. We tend to do that. So this is a lazy mouth problem, and when it goes to English, it becomes like this. Feelings become feeling, and king of the world become king of the wood. Okay, so that's kind of like a lazy mouth problem. So now we're going to move on deeper. First, the first lazy mouth problem is what I call the eholic. So what is the eholic? What is the eholic? So can everyone pronounce the words under the circle together?
Please. Place. Will. Back. Believe. His. Detail. Feel.
Yes, very good. Okay. Some people I hear when they want to say please, they say ples, and place, ples. So here we have a conflict. They pronounce these words the same. So here's a conflict. And will, sometimes it goes well, back, believe, has, the tell, and felt. And so the problem here is that, for example, for please, you're supposed to open up your mouth and say please, like smile, please. But if we are lazy with our mouth, we go plus, because we didn't want to move that much. So remember, it's please. And the other ones are kind of similar, so we're just going to skip that. The next problem is anti-es. If there's people who love E, like the aholic, then there's also people who hate the E's. So let's see what's anti-es. Can everyone say the words under the circle again together?
Question. Let's. Happen. Clear.
Yes, very good. Okay, so I think I have these come out too quick. Now everyone knows what I'm going to say. Okay, question. Some people say equation, and let's, happen, and clear to, where's Claire?
Claire.
Oh, Claire! Yeah, Claire. It's clear, but some people say it Claire. So we don't want this to happen, so if you see people missing out these kind of things, just tell them that you're missing out the E. Okay, then last but not the least is the R omitter. R is kind of difficult for some of us to speak because in Taiwanese we don't have this rolling the tongue part. You don't have to roll your tongue to the back, so we don't curl our tongue. So if we don't curl our tongue, when we want to say or, it becomes O, and R becomes aw. Crying becomes crying, matter, matter, and short, show, and world becomes word. I'm seeing fewer problems with the young generation, but generally for the generation before, there's more people who couldn't pronounce the R. Like my father, he has problems pronouncing the R. So maybe if you want to help them, just maybe try to make them curl the tongue and they'll be able to speak this R sound. Okay, so R. And oh yeah, there's one more problem. It's called the Encore. What's the Encore? It's like the first one is let me see, but sometimes people say like let me see and right now. Like yeah, sometimes you hear these stuff. The problem here is that you're skipping some syllables. It's okay to skip some syllables in English, but if you don't skip on the right place, it'll sound kind of weird. So the way to fix this is to just listen to a lot of English and you'll know where to skip and where not to skip. Like, let me see, you have to kind of, you skip the T, but you have to kind of make it short. Yeah. So the solution to the lazy mouth problem is to move your tongues and move your mouth like these cute little dogs. Okay? And for the next part, we have the difficult TH. Last time I had Claire gone again. Oh, I had Claire say these words. Now I'm gonna ask someone else to say these words. Alvin. The one on the right.
Thousand, love, there, lay, lap, although, rose.
Thank you. And actually, I found this very interesting phenomenon from Alvin. You said some of them correctly, but some of them fit the problem I listed here. I don't know how that happened, but you have the potential to fix all of them. Okay, so the problem with most Taiwanese speakers is that they don't, when they pronounce the TH sound, they don't put the tongue out. So when you want to pronounce the TH sound, you're supposed to put your tongue out. It's actually more than you think it is. Yeah, it's actually more than you think. Sometimes we don't open our teeth enough, so we aren't able to pronounce these words. When these words should be pronounced like thousand, the, there, they, that, although, think, others, and those. But if you don't put your mouth, put your tongue out, it'll be thousand, de, ler, lat, zat, also, sink, others, those, yeah, something like that. If you just retract your tongue and don't let it out, it'll become kind of like Chinglish. And however, if you let it out, it'll be more like regular English. So the key here is that you want to first put your tongue out and then you let the air out from between your upper front teeth and your tongue. So first, you want to bite your tongue lightly, and then you press the air on your front teeth, and then you open up your mouth to let this air out. So this is what happens.
She's professional.
So when that happens, you're able to pronounce the TH sound, and so it'll go like thousand, the. So the air out in between the, there, they, that. Yes. So can everyone understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Any problems? No? Okay, good. Now we move on.
We're smart.
Next is the overemphasis. What is the overemphasis? We sometimes hear professors say these. The first one is actually it keeps on happening in art clubs again and again. I'm not absolutely sure, but from all the native speakers I know, they say evaluation, and I almost hear no one. I hear almost no one who says evaluation. So try to say it faster, like evaluation, and make the liu almost gone. It's okay to make the liu gone, but if you leave a lot of liu, it'll sound a little bit weird. So evaluation instead of evaluation. Okay. And the next one is special. I've heard this professor say as special. If this is a special case in English, it actually should be special if you just read it out loud. Like if you've never heard someone speak English and you just see this word, it should be special. But this is the mystery of English. You just have to learn how people say it. It's special instead of special. And sigma, you probably heard this in class. Psi, psi. It should be psi. The P is silent. Same with psychology and pseudo, no P's. The P's should be gone. Okay, next is the accent error. I'm going to ask another person to say these words for me. Jessica.
Advertisement, communism, mechanism, psychological, technological, parameter, operator, produce, progress, detailed.
Very good.
Thank you.
Amazing. You almost got, I can't use two at a time. Okay. You almost got all of it correct. And, okay, so you got